Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Bala.
Good evening, sir.
Evening, Bala.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, Bala.
Good evening. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Mr. Fazil, Mr. Yuvraj, Mr. Vikas, Nitin.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Vijay Babu, sir. Okay. So we'll start the class. Last class we completed that how you're going to develop your responses and what made you to develop the responses. Whether you just made one response for one risk events or you came with the multiple responses. The reason for you to just have the multiple responses because you know very well that risk will be leaving some residual risk. You're not able to completely take the impact of the risk. So there will be a leftover risk. For you to deal with this leftover risk, you will plan with the additional responses, or you are able to take the complete impact of the primary risk, but you are able to bring a secondary risk. It's a side effect. So that's the reason for one risk event, you will plan at least one risk responses or multiple risk responses. Right, and you are able to update all these updations in the risk register, and the summary level goes into the risk report. Right. So now what happened here? If team is going to develop the responses, and for one risk event, there is no leftover or there is no secondary risk is found out. Once you start developing the responses, but the team has developed 4 responses. The team has developed 4 responses. You need to select one response. So on what technique will be helping you to select one responses? Can you just think logically and give me your reply? Your team has developed 4 responses for one risk event, but you can use only one responses. And based on your studies, that risk is not leaving any leftover risk, or it's not creating one more new risk. So there's no need for you to just bring multiple responses, but your team has developed multiple responses. In that multiple responses, you will be selecting one responses. So you'll be doing evaluations, which responses will be a very good response, which will not cost you more. It will give you the timely responses, and you don't require to have any kind of resources, extra resources, right? And whether it can reduce the impact of the negative risk, or whether it can increase the impact of the positive risk, right? So whether your risk events will be respond to this responses. So all this you need to evaluate. So which kind of technique will be helping you to do this kind of evaluations? The team. What I'm asking is clearly understood, right? Hello, I'm connected still.
Yeah, Bala.
Okay, give me your answer. What a technique will be helping you to just evaluate which responses among the other responses will give you timely responses. Stakeholder will give you the approval. All the response will be accepted by the stakeholder. It will not cross the control limit, or it will not go above the control thresholds. Everything will be within the threshold limits. You are able to plan that responses. You don't require to just assign multiple resources. A few resources okay for you to just bring that to to that risk events. You don't spend too much of money. It is not costlier, but it will be giving you the timely responses. Timely implementation will be done, and you came and the trigger condition also will make you to detect that risk events. So everything you need to consider using using some techniques. So what technique will be helping you to do this? Which is good? This is good. Response A is good. Response B is good. Response C is good. Response D is good. Ms. Kala?
Yeah, Bala.
I'm asking you, what technique you can use to evaluate which responses will be very good responses? Anyone?
Experience. Can we use our
experience can be used. See, actually, subject matter expert judgment will be the subject matter experts. They'll be using their experience. You know, they're going to use the vast experience. They will be providing you the solutions. So what you need to do, what you should not do. They're going to share their experience based on the skills they have, based on the competency they have, based on the ability they have, right? So you call this as a KSA, knowledge, skills, and the attitude. right? Knowledge, skills, and attitude, KSA. So in America, if you're going to drop your CV, many of the HR people, they're going to ask you, can you brief about your KSA? It's nothing but your knowledge, skills, and your abilities, or not attitude, ability, knowledge, skills, and ability. So this will be your KSA. So each and every subject matter experts will be having their own ability. They have their own knowledge. They are competent. So they're going to share their experience. But I'm asking the technique.
Brainstorming?
Huh?
Brainstorming?
Okay, brainstorming. No, I'm asking evaluations. Brainstorming is something going to increase the you increase the ideas, or you'll be asking. You want the session to be flooded with a lot of insights. So you will not worry about the quality. You'll be worrying about the quantity. And once you have got the abundance quantity of idea in front of you, you will be using the radical approach to pick up, which is a very good for me to implement. So my question is that which technique will be used for you to do the evaluations? Like you'll use a technique like whether we need to bring the 1,000 manpower to do an excavation work, or we can bring a 3 excavator machine to do the excavation work, which is feasible cost-wise.
Right.
So you need to just do the evaluations, right? You used one technique for you to evaluate your projects. You got 4 projects, and you selected one project. So you brought your criterias, and each and every criteria will be taking its own percentage share. So once you're going to sum up all the criteria, it should be 100% share. So now we bring each and every project, and you're going to give the score for each and every criteria. And which project is going to earn more score, that project will be selected. That will be the sponsor will decide to do the investment. So the business case will be created, and it will be supported by the business case, benefit management plan. Then there will be a creation of project charter, and you're going to bring the project manager, then the creation of project management plan. So project will go. So you have used one technique, or this particular technique was used by you in the daily life, that if you want to buy a car, you will not, after coming to the Gulf market, after getting the license, and after having some sufficient savings. So you'll be using that saving for you to buy a brand new car. So you doesn't want to be in hurry-burry. You'll be coming and evaluating various options. You'll be asking your friends, can I go with the Audi? Can I go with Toyota? Can I go with Mitsubishi? Or can I go with an American model? Or can I go with a German model? Or can I go with the Japanese model? So you'll be just doing evaluations. So the criteria for each and every brand, you can just bring the resale value, the affordable price, the customer the support, which the service is the showroom is going to provide you, the customer service. The number of years for the insurance for the vehicle is not 1 year; it's going to be 3 years. So 3 years continuous, there is insurance. So you will be having various criteria, right? The fuel efficiency, the durability of your vehicle. So what is the technique you have used? You have used the same technique that once you want to bring a competent person to work in the organization, you got 4 CVs or 5 CVs. So HR assistant will be using the technique to evaluate which person will be an affordable person to work in the organization, whether he can be affordable to take the salary which you're going to provide to him, whether he is having the knowledge based on your expectation, is having the experience based on your expectations. So each and every criteria will be worked out, and all the criteria, once HR is going to sum up, it should be 100%. So 4 to 5 CV you're going to receive, and you're going to rate the score for each and every criteria for all the 4 to 5 CV, and which CV is going to take a much score. Number has to speak for itself, and you're going to select that particular person. You have used this tool, you have used this technique. Can anyone? Why am I insisting? Why am keep on repeating this one? Because you'll be getting at least 1 or 2 questions on this particular technique. Can you recollect your memories, guys? And this is the last class.
Yeah.
This is the last class. You should have been like more than 70% preparing. Can I reveal that one without taking much time?
Yes, Bala.
The technique which will be used for you to evaluate which response is a very good response. Someone has made a text in the chat box. Scoring method. Yeah, scoring method. Faisal. Okay, what is that scoring method called, Faisal? I'm asking that. Please note down. It's a multi-criteria evaluation method. Multi-criteria decision analysis method. multi-criteria decision analysis method. What is the other name given for this? What is the other name given for this multi-criteria decision analysis technique? Scoring model. And what is the other name given for the same scoring model? Depending upon
Prioritize.
yes, prioritization matrix. So prioritization matrix will be able to rank your priority, and based on that, you're going to select a particular decisions, or it can be called as a scoring model, or we'll be calling this one as a multi-criteria decision analysis technique. And one more technique, two more technique apart from this, which will be used for you to do the evaluation, for you to pick up which is a very good decisions, or which one the team has to select as a response. Two more technique, along with the multi-criteria decision analysis, which is having other name called scoring model, or we can call this one as a prioritization matrix. Even if you want to select your vendors, you can use your multi-criteria decision analysis. You can bring some criteria and you can get your proposals, and which is the best proposal, give the score. So you can give the score subjectively, or you can give the score objectively, numerically, right? So subjective assessment can be done on your suppliers, or the objective assessment you can done on the suppliers based on the criteria. And which proposal is a very good proposal who can provide you the competitive range of price and goods, product, service. So that particular proposal will be selected, and you will be entering into negotiations. And once the party is ready to sign the agreement, so you will be forming an agreement. It's a legal binding, or it can be a formal binding, depending upon the environment. And you're going to award the contract. So please, what else? Which is good? PMP is good, or Prince2 is good? Which is good?
Alternate.
Alternative analysis. And one more. I had done the investment on Bala's Institute. So my return should be, my investment should be paying me off. So the investment which I'm going to do, the benefit has to be more than what I done the investments. So what is that technique is called? One more technique. The investment which I made in the training institute, relying on their efficiency, it has to provide me 10 times the returns. So what is this technique is called? Please note on cost benefit analysis, right? So the money which you're going to invest on each and every risk response for each and every managing each and every risk events. So you have to get your returns, right? You have to get your benefits. If you're going to plan your responses and you're going to spend the money on it, and you're going to spend your time on it, you're going to spend your effort on it, but the response is not fulfilling your expectations, you will not get any kind of benefits, and you are not able to push your project towards the profitability results. So be very cautious. Once the people are coming with the multiple responses, some risk event need multiple responses. If any primary risk is going to create a new risk, a second risk, you need to have multiple responses, or you need to deal with a leftover risk, which is a residual risk. Then you know very well that your team will be coming with 1 or 2 responses for one risk event, but that risk event will not leave any leftover risk, or it will not create a new risk. So that risk event is working with 1 response, but your team is having 3 responses. So use the tools appropriately, techniques appropriately, like alternative analysis. You need to use your cost benefit analysis. Then you'll be using the multi-criteria decision analysis for you to just rate which response is a very good response. Is it clear, guys?
Yeah, can we have some example, a real-time example for this selecting this technique? Is it possible?
Yeah, I said very clearly, right? To do the car selection. You want to do the car selections, right? You have your money, you have your savings.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I'm asking for a real-time scenario in offices.
Offices in sense?
Yeah, see, we are dealing with this topic with respect to our handling the situation in office, right? So can we take some example from office itself?
Yeah, actually, say, for example, for you to just bring a register, you want to get your company to get certification on ISO 9001, and you are a quality management certified company, right? So now you need to select your registers. You need to select your certification body who's going to certify your company. So you will not use this criteria. On what basis you're going to select a particular suppliers? Blindly, you're going to close your eyes and you're going to bring your suppliers inside, your register inside. You have many companies, right? You have SGS, and you have a Bureau Veritas, right? You have many companies like this. So now one company you need to select and you need to bring the people from that company who's certified and who can just certify your company. So what basis you're going to select your registrars? Vijay Babu, right?
Yeah,
Okay. On what basis you're going to select him, sir? What basis you're going to select a particular firm?
based on the how
Based-
many,
No, actually,
based on their performance.
once it is coming to the procurement, that is our next subject. We'll be discussing on that because what happened, you'll be having your own criteria. One of the criteria is that you will be looking about your capability of your vendor, right? What is the
Correct.
technical capability my vendor should have? What is the capacity this particular vendor should have, right? And what is the financial background this particular vendor will be having? Whether it's running a business like 1 year or is running the business for multiple years. You need to know about how many reference you are able to get from this particular vendor. That should be a positive reference. Right or wrong? Make sure that you are a very big fish, but you can't swim in a small pond. You need to make sure that particular person can scale up to your requirements. So whether he can just give the complete product, service, and result based on your requirements, you need to just gauge this also, right?
Yes.
Right on result. So if many people are doing the negative reference on that particular person, whether you're going to select that particular person or you'll be selecting the proposals, or your intention is that, for example, for you to just the Bechtel Incorporated companies is well famous for coming with an airport projects. Most of the big airports in the many countries was built by Bechtel Incorporated. It's an American company. You see that, you know that what criteria they have to bring the vendors inside. What is the main criteria they have in picking up the vendors? What is the main criteria for them to select a particular proposal which is sent to them? Hello, Vijay?
Yeah, is it any certification qualification?
Yes, the Bechtel Incorporated company will be looking for PMP certifications. You are from Dubai or you are from Doha?
Doha.
Okay, Doha. So who was the consultant for New Doha International Airport? Emir is a client, right? But
Yes.
so who's a consultant towards Emir Royal Family? Bechtel Incorporated, right? Bechtel Incorporated, right?
Yep.
And many companies were working as a packages. So what is how they selected this proposal? We got many people from Midmac JV. Midmac, there is a company called Midmac, and they went into a JV with the other company. So many people came for our PMP. Even we took our pay with the trainer inside the New Doha International Airport after many special permission to conduct some online classes. Sorry, to conduct some on the job training. So they said very clearly they were looking for PMP certifications. And one more thing, you know, a company called Black Hat Construction and Engineering. Black Hat. Hello?
Yes, heard. Yeah, we heard.
Okay. So they were working as a contractor to which company? You know that? The company right now is closed. They were working as a main contractor with a company and they were doing a project called Umbrella Project in Dukan Fields. So the main criteria for the client owner towards the Black Hat that all the people is working in the site or in the Umbrella project should be a PMP certified. They should qualify. So we got nearly 38 people to get trained up for the PMP. They need the certification, not the training. They need a certifications. So that was an Umbrella project. So there are some criteria for each and every company. So you need to know what is the criteria. Some company, they will look for the German standard. Some company will be look for the Japanese standard. Some company will be looking for the European standard, right? So you have your own criteria. Or some company will be looking that at least for first 6 months, the contractor professional should work in the project site office. Or at least for 3 months, they need to work in the project site office. So they need to do the proper supervision. So that is our requirements. So these are all the things will be kept as a criteria, right? Right. Even the Ashkel projects, Vijay.
Yes.
What criteria they have? You need to fulfill two
Ashkel.
criteria. One is the technical and another one is the commercial, right? The technical will be having its own criteria, right? To get the proposal, they will be matching with the criteria, right? Right or not? Vijay? Hello?
Yes, yes, sir.
So you will be, the company, the Ashkel will be listed, it will be listing down various criterias. So make sure that once you are sending your technical documents, you need to make sure that to evaluate, to pass through the technical evaluation, you need to match with the technical criteria, which is spelled out by the Ashkel. So once you are passing out the technical criteria and you're aligning with them, then they'll be asking you to send the commercial, they will do the commercial evaluation. They will be asking you to send the quotations. Right, so each and every the criteria is nothing but multi-criteria or alternative analysis or cost-benefit analysis, right? So this will be the important technique that will be used for you to make sure that which response is a very good response. So you can go with that one, or you could go with this one. Whether we'll be getting the benefit, what is the investment we're going to make on that risk response? Whether it will be giving the benefit. For example, if a response which is coming to you, two response which is coming to you. And one response, the cost benefit is 5:1. And one risk event is this for the same risk event, other one is 2:6. So now which risk events are you going to select? 5:1 or 2:6? For a particular risk event, maybe for example, that you will not get your rooms for you to run your meetings. Completely, it is occupied during the month of December because of the training, continuous training, which is listed in this year beginning by HR. So you will be the other team and the other department will be occupying the complete room. So you don't have any room or facility for you to run your meetings, the strategic meetings or any meetings. So you need to just hire a facility. So you want to build the facility, or you want to just you want to go with the rent, or you want to go with the lease. So you will be doing the cost benefit analysis. So now one risk event is you don't get your facility for you to run your meetings. So now you are in the intention that whether we need to build a new facility that will give you more benefit, or this is a temporary, we don't require to waste our money, we can go with the rent or we can go with the lease. So two responses coming for the same risk event. One is giving you 5:1. The other one is giving the ratio 2:6. Now, which one you're going to select, Mr. Vijay?
5:1. What?
The money which
Actually,
you can invest will be 5 times, and the benefit you're going to get only 1 time.
Oh, okay, okay. That means
So,
second one.
Second,
2:6.
so you will be investing 2 times the money, and you'll be getting the benefit will be how much? 6 times. So this risk event will be selected, right?
Correct.
Right. Okay. So cost benefit analysis, alternative analysis, and the decision, the multi-criteria decision analysis or prioritization matrix will be helping you to evaluate various risk events, risk or responses, and that responses will be selected, and that will be approved, and you are able to bring that one into the risk registers, right? And this is the place where you're going to implement the responses. Now, who will be the person to implement the responses here? Who will be the person to implement the responses? Option number 1, PM. Option number 2, RM, risk manager. Option number 3, risk owner. Option number 4, risk action owner.
Risk action owner.
Okay, please be very cautious. You need to just make sure a risk action owner. Risk owner will be the person. What is the role of risk owner? He will be managing the risk throughout the life cycle. He'll be the person to develop the responses, and he'll be the person to remain the risk action owner to be ready with this response. So how he is going to remain the risk action owner? Through what he is going to remain the risk action owner? Risk owner will be the person to manage the life cycle of each and every risk throughout your project, throughout your phase, throughout your iterations. And he has to develop the response, and he has to inform the risk action owner to be ready with his response. So how he is going to remain the risk action owner? So the risk action owner will be ready with his responses. So what is the thing he has to do? What I'm asking is clearly understood, right? Hello? Hello. Hello, guys. I'm Nitin.
Yeah, Bala, yeah.
I'm asking you, how he is going to remind the risk action owner, be ready with your responses. The risk is started. So be ready with your responses. So how he is going to inform the risk action owner? What is the predefined conditions? Hello?
Bala, you said risk owner is preparing the response, right?
Risk owner will be the person to manage the each and every risk which is assigned to him. Only one
Correct.
person will be a risk owner to one risk event, or one person will be taking in charge for a multiple risk event, which is assigned to him, right? So you'll be the person to develop the response. Once it's confirmed, his name is confirmed, you'll be a risk owner. So then the management team will be asking to develop the responses. So based on his experience, he'll be developing the responses, right? You'll be coming with one response, you'll be coming with a multiple response, he will do the evaluation, which response will work out and which response will not work out, right? And he's going, and the management will name a risk action owner who's going to implement the responses. The selected responses should be implemented by someone, right? So how the risk owner will remind the risk action owner to implement the responses. If he's not implementing the responses in a timely manner, can you able to keep your risk profile as a better profile?
No.
Huh? There are 5 frogs sitting in the tree, which is floating in the water. 5 frogs are sitting in the tree, sitting in the tree, which is floating in the water. And 4 frogs got hungry. They decided to jump into the water to get food. If 4 frogs decided to jump into the water, how many frogs left over? This also I should remind you.
It will also fall. It will also fall.
There are 5 frogs sitting in the log. It's a piece of, it's a bark of wood, right? It's a piece of wood floating in the water, and rain is falling down. And out of 5 frogs, 4 frogs are chatting together. They said, okay, we are feeling hungry, we'll go inside the water. So they decided to jump into the water. So how many frogs will left over in the log? How many frogs? If 4 frogs decide to jump into the water, how many frogs will left over?
One only.
Only one, right? Okay, they never gone into the water. They decided whether we can jump into the water.
Yeah.
So 5 frogs. So someone, if you are not implementing the responses, can you able to keep your profile as a better profile, risk profile? What is the necessary for you to develop the responses? For example, Ms. Kala, why you came here? You don't have job in India. Hello?
Yeah, Bala.
Why you came here? You don't have job in India?
I have.
Because you want to earn a lot, right? And you
Yeah.
want to use your knowledge and competencies and skills here, where you will be getting like a 22 more than 23 times you will be getting the payment for 1 rupee, right? For 1 real. So,
1 real.
So what are you going to do with this earning?
I will invest
With this earning, what are you going to do?
I will use it for my personal.
Okay, for personal. That means the first thing is that you and your husband wants to build a dream house, right? So you will be searching for a property, right?
Yes.
And you doesn't go to India frequently, and one real estate broker is coming to you and is showing a property, and is showing the complete features of the property, and it's a prime location. Then you want to invest in that property, because going to India, buying a plot, registering in the register office, paying the bribe to the people, brokers, a lot of headaches will be there, and you should be there. You need to select your engineers, and you should select your contractors. So that is a very difficult job. So you want to buy a ready-made property in the prime locations. You brought a property. And right now you and your husband is going to India to do the registrations. And so on that time, you are able to see that, okay, the property which you brought is in flood-prone area. It's in the flood-prone area. So once the rain is going to come, the complete property will be immersed. It will be submerged. So you can't sell that property. You already brought that property. So what are you going to do? What is your response? You know very well the risk event will be a future risk event. The rain may come or rain will not come. If rain is going to come, it will be impacting your property very badly, right? It will be giving you the negative impact. So what you decided to do? What is your response? You and your husband is planning for a response. What are you going to do?
Resell. We will try to resell it.
Okay, you try to resell it. Okay, it's not working out. Many people knows that it's a flood prone area. Once like a Velachery in Tamil Nadu, right?
Yeah.
Or it's like it's a very below the sea level. So water will come and water will submerge your property. So you can't keep your vehicles in the basements. Your car will be submerged. Your property will be destroyed. So in order to avoid this, what are you going to do? You brought and it's not going. You're calling the broker. You want to resell, but you are getting the lukewarm response from the brokers. So what is your response for this risk event? You want to purchase some insurance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a response, a prompt response you need to do. So you're buying the response. Okay, no problem. You will be convincing your husband. No problem. We brought this, and it's not. We are not able to resell it. So don't worry. If we're going to lose or if the property is going to damage because of the thunderstorms or very big rain pour down, we'll just go for a claim and we can buy an insurance. So that's the response you're going to respond to that risk event, right? You are planning to buy an insurance. And right now, you done the house swearing ceremony. All the relatives, kith and kins, everyone came, and you done your Griha Pravesa, and you kept some items or your household things inside the new house. You locked. You came in Doha. Suddenly, there is a rain during the monsoon. There is a continuous rain, 10 days rain. Now you are getting the call from the neighbor that your house is submerged. What you fail to do?
So climb that.
You plan to buy an insurance, but you fail to buy that insurance, right? Are you keeping a risk profile as a better profile?
No.
No, it's a completely failure, right? So
Yeah.
5 frogs decide to jump into the water. They never jumped into the water. So someone has to implement the responses. So will be the person who will be implementing the responses? Small companies, the risk owner and the risk action owner will be the same person. But the Project Management Institute, through his body of knowledge, is going to speak about the risk and the other areas in a very big and broad perspective. So imagine that you're working in a corporate company. So one person will be a risk owner, and another one will be a risk action owner. One person will be planning the responses. The other person will be implementing the responses. Now, if the particular person has to implement the responses, the risk owner has to do something. What the risk owner will do? Guys, come with your answers.
He will be the accountable for risk. He will just face the management, I believe. So, but whereas risk action owner will be actually doing that, but
risk action, it's very clearly understood, Vijay Babu. Risk action owner will implement the responses, but risk owner has to remind him, right? So how is going to remind him? What reminds you to just evacuate the building once a building is catching fire? Alarm, symptoms, warning signal, trigger. There should be a triggering condition. That trigger condition will be given by the risk owner to the risk action owner. Is it clear or not, guys? You are not only planning your responses, but you need to make sure that the predefined conditions, the triggers, the symptoms, are alarms. You may call in you call in a different term. You have to trigger with your triggering condition towards your risk action owner. So you'll be doing the implementations. If you're going to bring the risk action owner within your organization, they will be more loyal to the company where they're going to work, because the bread and butter is coming from the company they have worked. But if you don't have the experienced people in implementing the responses, so you need to hire the contractors, and these contractors will be implementing the responses. So can you expect the people to be more loyal? Because they have different priorities. This is not the primary priorities for them. They have a lot of priorities. So what interpersonal skills you need to just make sure that your contractors is doing the perfect job as a PM. What interpersonal skills you should have? So that interpersonal skills should make the risk action owner to understand the importance implementing the risk responses. Influencing, right? Can you see the influencing here?
Yes.
Yeah. So influencing skills here. So that's nothing but only thing is for me to say this one, you need to implement and for the person to be implemented. Because if you're going to bring your own people to implement, they will implement because they will show much loyal. They are much loyal and more patriotism to the organization that they work. But if you're going to bring any outsiders who's going to do the implementation, so this person has to be influenced by the project manager or risk manager. So you will be implementing the timely responses. You'll be implementing the responses in the timely manner. So you are able to meet your expectations. Right? So influencing, don't ever forget this one, please. Okay. So finally, you have to monitor and close down your risk. Why there is no, why there the term is kept monitor risk, they are not giving control risk. What process you can see for the scope in the controlling? What is the name of the process for the which is for the scope which is coming under the monitoring and controlling?
Control scope.
Control scope. And what is the name given for the cost which is coming under the monitoring and controlling function? Control cost, right?
Yeah.
What is the name given for the schedule which is coming under the monitoring and controlling process group?
Control schedule.
Control schedule, right? What is the name given for the quality which is coming under the monitoring and controlling?
Control quality.
Okay, what is the name given for the human resource which is coming under the resource management?
Manage your resources.
Manage
Control.
your team, not resources. Manage your team.
Manage team. Manage team.
Manage
Yeah.
team is a process for the human resource. Control resources is for your physical resources, right?
Yeah.
What you plan to utilize, you have to make sure that the actual results also shows the what you are planning exactly the same utilization should be there in the actuals. If the actuals are exceeding, then you're going to exceed your budget. So there should be a control on the usage of your resources. It's clear or not?
Yeah.
Manage team is that you are not managing the team. You are managing the team member performance. Based on that only, you are able to give the performance appraisals. Right? So once you're managing, you are not only managing the team expectation, you're managing the team performance, and you're able to manage the team issues and team conflicts. So there only the conflicts will come, and you need to know the environment. If the conflict is escalated to you, knowing the intensity of the conflicts, make sure that you need to use the appropriate conflict resolution techniques, right? You need to go with the compromisation. You need to go with the reconcile. You need to go with the problem solving. You need to go with the forcing, or you need to go with the directing, right? Once you start developing your team, you need to use your team development activities, and you have to take the team various stages: forming, storming, norming. So this team building will come in the developed team. And once you are developed your team with many coaching, training, and you act as a mentor to teach something. So they need to give the good performance. So good performance will be recognized and it will be rewarded, right? So you have to manage your team and you have to control your physical resources. Now, once it is coming to the communications, so a process from the communication under monitoring and controlling. So what is the name given for that?
Manage communication.
Yes. Why there's no monitor communications? Can you monitor the complete communication which is happening in the projects? Whether you are able to know about the gossips, whether you are able to know about the rumors. So all the communication can't be controlled. So you are able to manage the communications, whether the right message has reached to the right audience and it was bringing the right impact, or the audience doesn't like the way you communicate. You're going to change your communication strategies. You will be changing the communication frequencies. You'll be changing your communication methods, or you'll be changing your communication technology. So you'll be keeping your communication management plan in the loop for you to take these changes. Right? So the same thing, whether you're able to control the complete risk in your projects.
No.
No.
No, you will not be able to completely control all the risk. You need to monitor the risk. You need to monitor your risk and you have to close down the risk. Why I need to close my risk? After I done the monitoring, what are you going to monitor? What are you going to monitor?
Whether risk is occurring or not.
Okay, whether the risk is occurring or not. Then what you are monitoring? You will not monitor whether the assumptions is still valid or not. You'll monitor that also, right? Right or not, guys? What else you monitor? You will not monitor whether the response has fulfilled the expectations, or there should be a modification done in the responses which you selected to implement. Right or not, guys? Whether the response was a failure one or the response was a success one, right? Whether the response is done they have implemented properly, or they are never implemented properly. That's the reason you are not able to keep your risk profile as a very best or better profiles. You need to monitor this. What else you're going to monitor? What else you're going to monitor? You will not monitor whether there are any new risk occurrence that is impacting your project, and you will not give the alert message to the risk identification process to take this risk into the risk register and to do the qualitative risk assessment, to do the quantitative risk assessment. You will not alarm them. Hello?
Yes,
Yeah, we
Baba.
will do.
You will alarm, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, work performance data is kept here. Your work performance data is kept here. So what are you going to keep here for the risk related work performance data? Where you collected this data? Data is processed information, or sorry, unprocessed information or processed data?
Unprocessed.
Unprocessed. Unprocessed. So what are you going to bring here? The actual response which is implemented at this stage, right? Once the work is got executed, you know very well the risk will start attacking your project objectives. So how many response is implemented? So in this stage, you need to implement at least 10 responses, but the actual shows that you implemented only 6 responses. So you need to know the reason why only 6 responses is implemented, why the people is not able to implement the complete 10 response which you plan to implement. What is the reason for them? Why the people are so lethargy, right? So the reason which will be coming here, why the people is not able to implement all the 10 response which you planned, why they are able to do only 6 implementations, right? Whether the risk occurred, whether the people has responded well or not responded well. So this will go into the work performance informations. And why we need to keep the work performance report here? Once you monitor this work performance report here, where you got this work performance report? Where you got the performance report? Can you recollect your memories? Can you recollect your memories? You're going to collect the complete work performance information somewhere, and you're going to integrate, and you're going to push as a performance report. So which process is going to integrate the complete work performance information from all the domain areas? Work performance data is scrutinized, and you're going to add more context, and you're able to find out why there is a delay, why the people are extra spending, why how many deliverables are delivered, how many deliverables are not delivered, how many deliverables are tested, how many deliverables are raised as certificate, right? How many resources are utilized. So all this will be converted into work performance informations. And you will be giving the reason why there is a delay, why there is extra expenditure, why there is extra utilizations. So all the work performance information is collected from various domain, and somewhere it is getting integrated, and it is pushed as reports. So where all the performance information will be integrated? Which knowledge area?
Execution.
No. You understand my thing. Execution only, you are able to get many datas. Once the work is executed, you are able to keep. You are able to perform an action. You are able to bring some output. The output will be a deliverables. So based on the deliverables which is coming as an output, you are able to generate a lot of data. Quality data is collected. Your actual time data is collected. Your actual cost data is collected. Actual technical data is collected. Actual resource data is collected. Right? So you are able to bring all the data, and each and every data is sent to each and every controlling process. So the owner of the control process is going to receive the data and is going to check whether the actual data is meeting the planned data. Actuals are meeting the plans. If the actual is not planning, actuals are coming below the planned data. So you are able to know why it's below, why we are not able to reach the target, why we are not able to reach the planned data, why we are not able to spend the planned amount, why we are not able to complete the planned deliverables, right? Why we are not able to keep the time in our control. So why there is a delay, why there is a resource shortage, why the communication is not working well. So these are the things you are able to analyze and you are able to find out the root cause, and you are taking the recommendation of each and every process owners. So all the recommendations, everything will be coming here in the work performance informations. So this work performance information will be collected, all the work performance information will be collected in a knowledge area. Which knowledge area which is going to collect the complete work performance informations?
Change management. Yeah.
Work performance information. See, work performance data will be a primary input in all the monitoring and controlling process group, and you are able to bring the work performance informations. This is data. Since this is a raw data and primary observation, you are not able to take actions, you are not able to conclude anything, or you are not able to come with a firm decision. So you're asking the process owner to just convert this one as a information. So this person is adding more context and is going to give the recommendation whether to go with the corrective actions, whether to go with the preventive actions, whether to go with the defect repair. So this all the things will be coming here as a work performance informations. So each and every monitoring and controlling process, the output will be work performance information. The input will be the data. This data will be compared with the plans to find out the variance. And there is a variance, and you are able to know what is the reason for the variance, why the variance. If it is a positive variance or it's a zero variance, it's no problem. But most of the project will be having a negative variance. So if it is a negative variance, you need to know the reason why there is a negative variance, why it occurred, where it has occurred, and whether what will be what are the objective will be impacted of because of this negative variance, and what we need to do to remove this variance, how long this particular variance will stay in your project. So you are able to add more context in the data, and you are converting this one as a processed data. Your unprocessed information will be coming in the form of data that will be processed by the process owner, and more meaning will be added, more context will be added, recommendation will be given, reason for variance, what we have to do to remove the variance, whether we go with the corrective actions or preventive actions or defect repair. So every suggestion will be coming in the work performance information in all the controlling process. So now this will be taken by the project manager in a knowledge area. Which knowledge area will be receiving the complete work performance information?
Scope management.
Which knowledge area will be receiving the complete work performance information? Which knowledge area
Monitoring
will
and
be receiving the complete which knowledge area will be
Monitoring and controlling.
monitoring and controlling is a process group. I'm asking knowledge area.
Direct and manage.
Where you send the complete management plans. Once the management plans are defined and got the approval, where you send? You kept yourself? Each and every department, they kept there in the drawer, or they send the copy of the management plan to project manager. You need to send a copy to all the management plan. You need to send a copy to the project manager, right? Hello?
Yeah.
So which
Yes,
knowledge area is receiving all the management plans? Which domain area?
Integration management.
Integration. What is this guy? Monitoring and controlling process group is also an integration process, right? Under monitoring and controlling body, we will be having individual controlling and monitoring process. So it has to receive the complete work performance informations. So once it is going to take the complete work performance information in all the monitoring and controlling process, what it will do, what the project manager will do, the project manager will go through each and every work performance information, and he will be integrating all the performance information as what? In monitoring and controlling project work, in the integration knowledge area, the project manager will receive this work performance information as input, right? Hello?
Bala. Yes.
So what he is going to do? He is going to integrate the complete work performance information, and he is going to convert what?
Report.
Reports. Right? Reports. And that report is coming here as an input. Why? What you can see in this reports?
Integrated performance report. Purpose.
Yeah, what you can see then reports. What you can see in the reports.
Show the variance, those things and all, right?
Yes, you will have what the reports will show that something called CV, SV, SPI,
yeah.
CPI, ETC, EAC, BAC, 2 complete performance index, the VAC, variance and completions, person spent, person complete. All the equations will come in the performance report, right? If all these numbers or equation is minus, negative,
When we say risk.
Risk. So still the risk is there. You never responded with your response. You never responded with you never responded with the risk even with a good response. You need to modify or you have to change your responses. Or there is a new risk is impacting your project objective. That's the reason we are not able to produce these numbers. We are not able to make the positive numbers. We are able to make only the negative numbers. Right or wrong, guys? Right or wrong?
Yeah, sorry, something confused. That's why we are not able to
Okay.
answer it.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Now, what do you mean is technical performance analysis? Technical performance analysis. You will not compare your actual accomplishment with the planned accomplishments,
Yes.
right? For example, you want to develop a prototype before ordering a large scale of raw materials into the production line. You need to just get the feedback from the sponsor or an important stakeholders. So you know very well you'll be using the prototype, which will be used for what? Prototypes are used for what? Prototypes are used for what?
It's a miniature of that model, right?
Okay, it's a miniature of the working model for you to get the early feedback, or you can use as a you can use the prototype for you to gather your requirements, right? Now,
Yes.
in the month of September, before you complete the month of September, the sponsor or the owner is asking you to bring at least 10 features, right? 10 features. By October, you need to bring all the 20 features. So October, you need to bring the 10 features, and September, you need to bring the 10 features. So you can get the approval from the sponsor, and you can take this prototype and you can order the materials in the larger scale, and you can start doing the productions. So you need to just gather too much of technical information about the feature which you're going to bring into the prototype. And you will be having the milestone for you to achieve the features. So every 3 features which you're going to bring into the prototype will be having the milestones, right? So now what happened here, if you can bring 10 features within September 2023, so you are on the target, or you are above target, or you are below target?
On the target.
On the target. So you're achieving your targets, right? What you plan to do, you are able to achieve that one. Your actual shows that you are able to bring the 10 features. But what happened if you are bringing only 7 features? You are able to build only 7 features.
Below target.
Below targets. So it's not going to be a risk.
Yes.
Risk, right? So make sure that the technical performance analysis is used for you to compare your actual technical performance accomplishment with the planned technical accomplishments. You can get 0 variance, you can get positive variance. You are on the very good side. You are able to manage your risk properly. If it shows that you are below your targets, that means you are having a negative performance, and that will be impacting your project negatively. So still the risk is there, right? Reserve analysis. Why the reserve analysis is used here? Where you have used the reserve analysis? Where you have used the reserve analysis? You have used in the during the planning process, right?
Yeah.
During the planning. So what you plan? Once you do the estimation, right? What
Yeah.
estimation you done? You done your schedule estimation, and you done your cost estimations, right?
Yeah.
So what you done? You try to add the resource, schedule resource and cost resource. For what? To manage what? To manage risk, right?
Yeah.
The extra duration and extra money which you
Resource.
included in the baseline, that extra money and extra duration is only used for you to manage your risk. The actual work is going to be the actual money you're going to spend, but extra money which you brought as the reserves, legitimately you're going to bring that extra duration and extra cost into the baseline for you to manage your risk properly, right? So in the plan, once you are doing the estimation cost and estimation duration, you would have used your reserve analysis to know how much reserve is needed. Now, why the reserve analysis again is used in the monitoring risk process? Why you need
based on any risk occurred, there may be a chance to increase or decrease the
yes. Okay, what happened once you start executing a project? A risk will come and attack your objectives, right? So what the risk will do? A risk will start eating your contingencies, right? It
Correct.
start eating
Yeah.
your reserves. Some risky event will eat more reserve than what you planned.
Yeah.
So what you done? You make sure that whether you have sufficient reserves for the remaining work. The remaining work will be having a remaining risk. So you need to make sure that whether you have sufficient reserve in covering the remaining risk. So the reserve analysis used here. If the reserve analysis shows that you don't have sufficient reserves in managing the remaining risk in your remaining work. So what are you going to do?
We will again
You
add
need,
a,
you need to ask your
add-
management, right? You
Yeah.
need to ask your management. So you make sure that during the course of your project, your reserves start, your risk start coming and attacking your reserves. But most of the few of the risky events will start eating your reserve more than what you planned. So you'll be using this kind of technique for you to find out whether you need extra reserve in covering the remaining work, or you have the resources are so sufficient for you to complete the remaining work, or you have a surplus resource. And this much of reserve is not needed for you to complete the remaining work. You can give the balance reserve to the management. You can give the money, the extra money which you're going to save because you are managing your risk properly. So you can ask the management to take the money and you can complete your project before the deadline. So a real project is happening like this?
No.
No, right? Okay. So what kind of tool will be used for you to just show the status of reserves? The actual status and the plan status. You need more or you need less. So what will be the graphical tool will be used for you to perform the reserve analysis to indicate the management we need extra resource or we will repay the reserve back to the company. We are in the profit zone. We are making more profit and we doesn't require this much of days and we doesn't require this much of budget. So ask the financial department to take the budget. So we are saving the budget and we are saving the time, or we are not able to save the budget and we are not able to save the time. We need the extra donation for us to complete the remaining work. We need the extra money for us to complete the remaining work. So what kind of graphical tool will be used for you to indicate this?
Bar chart.
Hmm?
Plan versus
You
action.
don't make a mistake. According to the project management body of knowledge, the tool which is used, what you said, ma'am?
Bar chart, I said, histogram.
You said burn down chart.
Okay. That is for adaptive methodology.
Risk burn down charts. Risk burn down chart. So in the adaptive method or even the predictive method, you can use the burn down chart. So according to the Project Management Institute, for you to just indicate whether you have sufficient resource in covering the remaining work, since the remaining work will be having a remaining risk, or you will be surrendering all your reserves which you plan to spend for the risk events, or you need to have the extra resource, then only you can complete your remaining work. So this will be indicated through a graphical display called burn down chart. That will be a risk related burn down charts. Right? As you promise to do the audits, what kind of audit you will do? Risk audit. So what are you going to do audit? Why we need to do the audit? Through audit, what you are able to achieve? Through audit, what you are able to find?
Risk is implemented properly or not.
Okay, responses is implemented, not risk. Responses is implemented properly or not. Whether the risk has responded well to the responses. Whether your response is able to take the complete impact of the risk, it is able to minimize the impact of the risk, or whether the response is able to maximize the impact of the risk since it's going to be a positive risk, right? And the risk audit will be done for all the process which is selected to use under the risk domain. Whether the process is done in a proper way, whether the people is able to repeat the process on a given periodic information in the risk management plan, whether they are able to perform the activities which you plan to perform, or they perform the relevant activity, or they perform the irrelevant activities. So all the things will be done through risk audits. So the project manager can do the risk audit, or you can bring your own auditors to do the risk audit, whether the process was worked out well, whether the selected responses was worked out well. So you need to get the audit reports. So you are able to know about your summary. You are able to know the auditors will give the audit findings, and they will be giving you they will just give the suggestion for you to do some improvements. right? So this will be done through risk audits. If I want to go through the complete risk register from the day one, I want to know which risk events was occurring, which risk events are not occurred, which risk event will yet to occur, which risk I need to close down, which risk I need to just open because I'm just moving from one phase to other phase. So this risk event is not relevant to the other phase or other iterations. So I need to close down the complete chapter of this risk events. So what will be the tool will be used here? What kind of technique you will be performing in going through the complete risk register from the day one? What are the things you are able to bring into the risk register? And this is going to be the third year. You need to go to, you need to do the complete detour on the risk register. So what technique will be used here? What a technique? The risk audit is only for the process. Whether the risk selected process for the risk, each and every risk domain, you are able to, your team is able to perform well. They are able to perform the activity which is selected for each and every process. They done or they have used a irrelevant activity which is not used, which they should not use. So the summary, the findings, the improvements where you need to do the improvements in the risk process. So everything will be coming through audit reports, risk audit reports. Appropriate participant will be called, and they will be having a meeting. They have to show various kind of documents, right? The auditor has to certify, right? Everything is working out well, right? So now you need to make sure that the complete risk register should be detoured. You need to go through each and every risk events. So what will be the technique will be used? Can I use the same risk audits? Hello? Hello?
No, Bala.
Okay, what
For the-
technique it is? Please note down.
Meeting.
Yeah, meetings. What kind of meetings? What kind of meetings? What kind of meetings will make you to, what kind of meetings will make you to just discuss the complete risk which is registered in the risk register? What
risk
risk?
review.
Huh?
Or some
What
risk review.
risk?
Review meetings.
Yes, risk review meetings. A risk review. Or please note, this is called as a risk reassessment meeting. Reassessment. So it can be called as a risk review meeting or risk reassessment meeting. Risk review or risk reassessment is going to be a time-consuming process. You ought to go through the complete risk register and risk report from the day one, which you brought the complete risk into the risk register. And risk audit, you are able to do only the process. So risk process are audited and risk register will be reviewed and done the reassessments, right? So all your findings will go into the risk report. And if you want to do any kind of course corrections, you need to just make sure that your project management plan will be done, especially if you want to just make sure that the methodology was not working or during your audit findings, you need to change your methodology in making sure that you are managing your risk properly. So there is a change in you need to do some course correction. So your risk management plan should go for an updations. You can't update because the risk management plan is integrated with the project management plan. Put your change request. You can use your corrective actions, get your request approved, and come here and do the course correction, manage the old risk management plan for its integrity, and go and take a new version of risk management plan and communicate with all the people who's working in the projects, right? Any assumption is valid, still the assumptions are valid, or you need to close down the assumptions, you make your updations here. Any issues you are able to get from this process, right? So you are able to log that issues, or any old issues are resolved, you are able to make that note. So you are updating this one, any new lessons which you're going to learn from this process. So you're documenting your lessons on register, right? Risk register and a risk report. What are the things the people has done as auditing, summary, findings, everything will be updated in the risk register and risk report. The organizational process asset is getting updated. Maybe the auditors will say that RBS, which you have used at 2 levels, this project, the same kind of project, if you're going to perform in future, try to come with 4 levels of RBS.
Bala, we can't hear you.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm able to hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So the organizational process asset is getting updated because the auditors in their audit findings, they said that 2 levels of RBS will not work out for this kind of projects. If you're going to repeat the same project in future, try to just come with a 3-level RBS or 4-level RBS, right? So they are able to give this one. So your organizational process asset is going to take this note, and template should be updated with the information by the auditors, right? Anything else?
What are the information will get updated in risk register and risk report here as
Risk
we have
report, the audit summary, right?
audit summary in the risk
Audit summary.
register?
Risk,
We are giving
risk
that
register,
much
what response was worked on, what response should be modified, that updation has to go there into the risk register, right? Because you need to, you are monitoring here, you are tracking the
Yeah.
responses. So what you done on your tracking, that particular tracking information should be updating your risk register. You need to
Okay.
mark which response was worked out well and which response should need a modification. There should be any changes, or you have to completely reconsider the response which you made. So that makes you to update your risk register, right? And even once you are doing the risk reassessment, you are able to log a new risk inside the risk register. Right, ma'am?
Okay.
So we completed, and the last one is procurements. So there will not be much questions on the procurements. They'll be giving at least 4 to 5 questions on procurement, but we need to know the basic and fundamentals. So to support the procurement process, how many processes we have? Sorry, to support the procurement domains, how many processes we have? Three processes. You are able to see a new screen in front of you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we have 3 processes. One is plan, procurement, management. The other one is contract procurement. The third one is the control procurements. So if you're going to plan your procurements, what are you going to get? If you're going to plan the communication, what are you going to get? If you're going to plan the risk management, what is the
management plan?
You will
Management
be able
plan.
to get the procurement and management plan. So that will be one of your sub plan. So that will be one of your one of the project management plans, right? It is integrated with other management plans, right? So what you're going to keep in the procurement management plan? What you're going to describe or define in the procurement management plan? And what is the difference between the term procurement and contract? How you are able to define the word procurement and how you are able to define contract? Contract and procurement are same.
No.
Okay.
Contract
So what do you mean by procurement? What do you mean by contract?
Getting some materials from vendors.
Okay.
Contract is an
Or
agreement
even
between parties.
even the purchase order like that
Okay.
will be considered.
So what are you going to get from a vendor? You will be getting only the materials. You will not get something called goods. You will not get something called the service.
Goods and services.
Goods and services, right? So please note on the procurement is nothing but it's a fancy way of saying something you are able to acquire by going outside the organization and you're able to bring that one into your organizations. Something you are able to goods or the service you are able to acquire from outside. You're stepping outside to bring something inside your organizations, right? To bring something inside to the organization, you need to have a contract, right? The contract will be a legal binding. To bring something inside, you need to enter into a relationships. So this will be a contract relationships, right? To retain these relationships, make sure that you need to just sign a contract. It can be, it is a legal binding, right? So once you decide to procure something, you need to sign the contract, right? So you need to make sure that through the procurement, you are able to maintain many relationships. Now, what happened here? Party A can be called as, I can call the party A as the buyer. Or I can call this particular person as a main contractor. Or I can call this particular party A as client. Or I can call him as a owner. Right? What else I can call him? According to the Project Management Institute, we'll be calling the person as a buyer who's going to buy something from a supplier. Right? Now, A is a buyer depending upon the industry where you work, you're going to call this one as him as a buyer, main contractor, client, or the owner. So the party B who's going to supply is supplies, whether it's a goods or service, it will be coming in the form of a seller. So these are the two terms is used in the project management body of knowledge. Buyer is a person who's going to pay money to get something from the seller. So seller will sell the goods or service to the buyer, right? So the buyer has to compensate the seller by cash kind, and seller has to compensate the buyer by providing him a goods and service which he needs, right? So seller can be called as a contractor, or we can call this person as a subcontractor. We can call this person as a service provider. We can call this particular person as a supplier. So you can call him a different kind of name. But according to the project management